All right, you guys, so a week before Charlie lost his life, he expressed some concerns about the finances at Turning Point USA.
What I think is happening is I think there are fake people on the payroll. I think that paychecks are getting sent to people who do not really exist.
Erika Kirk is reportedly in full-on crisis mode right now because Turning Point USA donors are starting to demand their money back, and some are openly accusing her of fraud. This isn't whispered frustration anymore. This is donors speaking up, posting publicly, and asking hard questions that nobody wants to answer. When a political organization that runs on trust and loyalty suddenly has its own supporters saying, "Where did my money go?" That's when the pressure becomes unbearable. These aren't outsiders trying to stir drama either. These are people who donated, believed in the message, and now feel like something doesn't sit right. And let's be clear, this didn't come out of nowhere. According to multiple sources, TPUSA was already under financial scrutiny not long ago. Inside political circles, people were quietly saying the books didn't add up, spending patterns looked strange, and key details weren't lining up the way they should. Then suddenly, everything went silent. No investigation updates, no clear answers, no public explanation, and that silence made a lot of people suspicious. Many believed that the sudden drop-off wasn't accidental, and that Erika's connections may have helped cool things down behind the scenes. Her ties go way back.
I believe that we all have angels in our lives, and these are my little angels from Antonio Placement Center in Constanța, Romania.
Listen.
Our goal with the Romanian Angels Project was to show these children the true American heart during the holiday season. And what better way to do that than having our United States military personally deliver the gifts?
Long before the spotlight, Erika was a pageant competitor who won Miss Arizona during the era when Donald Trump owned those pageants. So when people say she has connections in powerful places, that's not speculation. That's documented history. Now here's where the timing starts to look even stranger. After Charlie was gone, the money started moving fast. Donations kept coming in. Fundraising continued, but transparency didn't follow. Instead of clear explanations, donors were met with silence, deflection, or no response at all. That's when social media really exploded. People began comparing notes, sharing screenshots, and asking the same question over and over. Where is the money actually going? And once that question took hold, there was no stopping it. Candace Owens, along with other major conservative voices, stepped in and told donors to start asking real questions, and if they didn't feel comfortable, to request refunds. And here's the part nobody expected. Some small-dollar donors actually followed through. That alone is shocking. Turning Point USA has always been known for having loyal, ride-or-die supporters. Refund demands from everyday donors are almost unheard of. And now, with trust breaking down, accusations spreading, and silence getting louder by the day, this situation is quickly turning into a full-blown credibility crisis that's only getting harder to ignore. But here's where people really started getting nervous. Since Charlie's death, TPUSA has pulled in millions, and a big chunk of that money came from anonymous donors. That means no names, no faces, no clear trail. And when you mix massive cash with zero transparency, people start feeling real uneasy fast. At the same time, Erika wasn't just sitting on the sidelines, she was collecting money too. Reports show she's taken in nearly $10 million through donations and fundraisers since Charlie died. And that's not even counting book royalties, media deals, speaking opportunities, and other payouts tied directly to Charlie's name and brand. Then there's the life insurance. Charlie reportedly had a policy that likely paid out around $10 million going straight to Erika and the kids. Add that to the growing donation pile, and people started realizing just how big these numbers were getting. And it doesn't stop there. Earlier this year, the Arizona home was sold for $25 million. After paying off the $25 million mortgage, that left roughly $2 million in cash. So just from the house sale, insurance money, and public donations alone, Erika was already sitting on an eye-watering amount of money. Now let's talk fundraisers, because this part really raised eyebrows. The biggest boost reportedly came from Tucker Carlson's nicotine pouch brand, which brought in about $5.4 million through a gift with purchase campaign. On top of that, the company itself allegedly kicked in another $1 million. That's serious money moving fast. And that wasn't the only help rolling in.
So that's a major issue, right? And that's where I started realizing a lot of this money in these nonprofit organizations are going in and out.
Other groups jumped in too. Organizations like Friends of the Kirk Family, Liberty Memes Foundation, and Glenn Beck's 9 to 12 Project all added more money on top of everything else. Meanwhile, here's the part that makes people pause. Charlie's salary at TPUSA was reportedly around $390,000 in his final year. And according to people who worked closely with him, the board practically had to beg him to take more money. So when people look at all this together, the anonymous donations, the fundraisers, the insurance payout, the house sale, and Charlie's relatively modest salary, they're not just confused anymore. They're asking serious questions about where all this money is coming from, where it's going, and who's really watching the books. Charlie really wasn't trying to cash out like that. People close to him have said over and over that money was never his main focus, and even at the peak, he wasn't pushing to squeeze every dollar out of the organization. That's why his salary stayed relatively modest compared to the power and reach he had. Now, Erika is the CEO, and people are already expecting she'll be making the same. Or more. And let's be real, it'll probably be higher. Because from everything we've seen so far, she doesn't move the way Charlie did. The approach feels different. The priorities feel different. And donors are noticing.
Erika Kirk's ex is now the speaker for Turning Point. Cabot Phillips, the editor of the Daily Wire, the outlet that actively had beef with Charlie. The same Daily Wire that went and took over the Charlie Kirk show for a cameo 6 days after he was assassinated. Not only is this guy Erika's ex, but while Erika was dating Cabot, Cabot already knew Charlie.
On top of that, Erika now controls Charlie's for-profit companies, including Resolute Media Group and Charlie Kirk, LLC, which handled consulting and business work. So she didn't just inherit grief, she inherited a full business empire with multiple revenue streams. And this is where donors really start feeling uneasy. They're asking, if Erika already has millions from donations, life insurance, the house sale, and these companies, what exactly is Turning Point USA still collecting money for? That question keeps popping up everywhere. Some donors are now saying they feel like they got played. Not misled by the mission, but misled by the money trail. When transparency disappears and leadership changes overnight, trust breaks fast. Online speculation has gone into overdrive. Some people are whispering that Erika may have been handling money on her own, possibly even moving funds into offshore accounts.
Whose idea it was for her to go on this media tour. All it has done is confirm for those of us who were holding on with a smidgen bit of benefit of the doubt that this woman was genuine. Out the window. We cannot unsee what we've seen.
None of that has been proven, but the secrecy surrounding finances has only made those rumors louder. And let's be honest, people are now digging into Erika's past like never before. Before Charlie, most people barely knew anything about her. Now they're discovering inconsistencies, like claims that she never dated before Charlie, which don't fully line up with what others are saying. People are also pointing out that she launched her own foundation at a very young age. That's not impossible, but it's still raising eyebrows for some donors who feel like her public image may have been carefully built over time. When you stack it all together, the power shift, the money, the lack of clarity, and the questions about her past, donors aren't just confused anymore. They're watching closely because to them, something about this whole situation just doesn't add up. Now here's where things really start to rub people the wrong way. Since Charlie's death, Erika has been everywhere. TV appearances, podcasts, interviews, press tours, almost nonstop. Every appearance looks the same too. Emotional, tearful, visibly shaken, and always front and center. And online, people are not buying it. Some have even accused her of using tear-inducing eye drops to make sure she looks devastated on camera. True or not, the fact that people even believe that says a lot about how little trust is left right now. So, now you've got donors feeling uncomfortable, an organization that was allegedly under financial scrutiny, and one person at the center of it all who suddenly controls everything. That combination alone is enough to make anyone nervous.
So we get to Bill's Burgers, and I'm there thinking it's a business interview.
Started that way.
Right. So we sit down, and you grill me for, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Easily. On philosophy, politics,
Culture.
Religion, culture. Economics. What else? Everything else you can imagine, he grilled me. Anything he talks about on his podcast show, he grilled me on. Pretty much.
Just didn't record it.
And then afterwards, he got finished with his burger, and he just sat there, and he looked at me. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to hire you. And I was like, that's fine. I don't need this job. I'm doing plenty of other things here in Manhattan. He's like, I'm going to date you.
And the deeper people dig, the more they keep asking the same question. Did Erika really just inherit all of this? Or did she find a way to turn Charlie's death into a full-blown business opportunity? Because right now, a growing number of donors are saying they don't think their money went where they believed it was going. And once trust cracks, things usually spiral fast. That's exactly what's happening here. People keep throwing around the word fraud when they talk about Erika. But to really understand why donors are panicking, you have to look at how something like that could even happen in the first place. When you trace the possible paths money can take, the concern suddenly makes a lot more sense. Let's start with marketing because that's where money can disappear quietly. Social media teams, ad buys, video crews, PR firms, reputation management, damage control, all of it costs serious money. And for donors, it's almost impossible to tell if those costs are fair or wildly overpriced. Everything just gets lumped under vague labels like outreach or media. No breakdowns, no clarity, no way to verify anything. That alone is a red flag for donors who expect transparency. And on top of all that, Erika has been heavily pushing merchandise, branding, and non-stop promotion tied to Charlie's name. Shirts, campaigns, content, all moving fast, all generating money, all tied back to the same core question. So now donors aren't just asking where the money went, they're asking who it's really working for. Hoodies, shirts, hats, all of it. You've seen her tossing them out at events like it's nothing.
The defense wants to ban cameras in the courtroom. How do you feel about that?
There were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered. There have been cameras all over my friends and family mourning. There have been cameras all over me, analyzing my every move, analyzing my every smile, my every tear. We deserve to have cameras in there. Why not be transparent? There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on. Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
But here's the thing. Merch is another place where costs can quietly get padded. Printing, design, shipping, promo, storage, it all stacks up fast. And from the outside, nobody knows what any of it actually cost. Everything just gets wrapped up under vague expense categories, and donors have zero way to check if those prices are fair or wildly inflated. On paper, it all looks normal, but that's exactly why people are suspicious. Then you've got payments going to people inside the circle. Staff, speakers, hosts, guests, people brought in to talk at events, all of them get paid. Travel, hotels, appearance fees, logistics, it adds up quick. And again, it all looks like standard programming if you don't dig deeper. Take this example. Erika's ex-boyfriend, Cabot Phillips, has been hosting and speaking at TPUSA events. He's now a Turning Point USA speaker and even spoke at multiple events honoring Charlie, including one titled How to Lead Like Charlie in December 2025. On paper, that's just another event, but to donors, that connection raises eyebrows. Every appearance comes with expenses. Flights, hotels, meals, honorariums, and none of that looks unusual unless you're paying attention. To donors, it starts feeling like the same names keep circulating while the bills keep growing. And then there's the part people always whisper about. Vendors tied to leadership. Nonprofits can hire outside companies for merch, events, printing, tech, travel, production, you name it. And those companies can be owned by friends, relatives, or people close to the inner circle. That's where donors get really uncomfortable.
But what I will say is, when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than going, I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here.
Because once money starts looping back through familiar hands, everything technically looks legit. But trust starts breaking fast. So when donors look at all this together, the merch, the speakers, the vendors, the connections, they're not saying something illegal happened. They're saying the setup makes it way too easy for money to move without anyone noticing until it's already gone. None of this is illegal by itself. And that's the key point. This is exactly how money can move around without ever being labeled a paycheck. Housing, security, travel, admin costs, all of it sounds normal on paper. CEO housing, security teams, flights, hotels, drivers, office space, event setups, it all gets quietly labeled as operations. Some of those expenses are real, sure. But this is also the easiest place to quietly rack up massive bills that donors never see broken down in detail. No itemized explanations, no clear answers, just big categories and bigger numbers. So when people online ask, where did the money go? They're not imagining some secret vault. They're picturing all of this. a pile of totally legal line items that, when added together, can turn donor money into very comfortable lifestyles for the people running the show. And that's exactly why so many donors are starting to feel like something isn't lining up. Because if people donated believing they were supporting Charlie's mission, his values, his vision, his work, but that same money is now flowing through a completely different version of TPUSA with new leadership, new paychecks, new contracts, and new priorities, then yeah, it makes total sense why people are pulling back. Trust is everything, and once donors feel like the mission changed without their consent, support disappears fast. That's why this story matters, and that's why people are paying attention right now. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts below, and share this with anyone who needs to see it. And as always, I'll see you on the next video.